goal scoring leaders. Can you name the goal scoring leaders in the biggest 5 leagues in Europe? Yeah, I know. Some of them are household names, but others, you may have never heard of them before. We're going to look at those goal scoring leaders, their cards, on this week's episode of the SlabStox FC Show. What's going on, everyone? Andrew at St. Croix Cards, and I cannot wait to talk about the goal-scoring leaders across Europe. Now, 5 major leagues that we got to look at. Premier League, Bundesliga, Serie, La Liga, and we'll finish it up with Ligue 1 in France. That's where we're going. But if we are talking about goal scorers, I hope that one name comes to mind, and that is Erling Haaland. The man is a machine. I just can't believe what we've been witnessing over the course of the last 10 days or so. Erling Haaland, 22 years old, has just been taking the Premier League by storm. Not to mention what he's doing in the Champions League and also the FA Cup. 26 games in the Premier League this year. He has 28 goals. Champions League, 6 games, 10 goals. And in those 10 goals, 5 of them came in the round of 16 matchup against RB Leipzig. FA Cup, he just got his hat trick against Burnley in the quarterfinals. They're set up to go to Wembley here in the semifinal action. He's got a goal in the Carabao Cup. He's got 42 goals across all competitions. Erling Haaland has definitely made his presence felt in the Premier League, and it's looking like Manchester City are pushing for that Champions League title. They got a tough draw on that left side of the bracket if you saw it, but it's going to be really, really interesting to see what he brings to the table as the year finishes out. Now, one of the cards that I wanted to look at that I really, really enjoy is that 2021-2022. This is the Beam Team Refractor. This is out of Stadium Club. I just love it because it's kind of my childhood here. I know the Beam Team in basketball was a big thing, but here is the Black Refractor. Now, this is out of 10, and this is a PSA 9. This sold March 18th. For $917.91. So a pretty solid sale there for Erling Haaland. As we go, it's always great to see those low kind of pop cards, that, just to be aware of the cards and what they're selling for. But the one that caught my attention, and I don't know if you saw it, but I wanted to bring it to your attention as well, is that 2019 Topps Museum Ruby patch auto that sold at PWCC's premier auction here this last week. March 16th, this card sold for $13,200. Now, it is a BGS 9.5, and it's got 9.5 subgrades, all except for the surface, which is a 9. But $13,200. So it got me to thinking when I saw this, my instantly, I think, did it sell before and what did it sell for? And it was interesting to me, $13,200 on March 16th. This same card sold in October 22nd of 2022. So we're still about a month out from the World Cup there at the time this sold. But this sold for $12,000. Same card, but this time it was at Golden's auction. $12,000. So we're over $13,000. Really, really solid sale for the Erling Haaland Ruby. And so patch auto, beautiful looking card. I do know, some people prefer the horizontal and not the vertical, but to me, it's a 2-color patch, great auto, just a great looking card. But that's a big, big sale, $13,200, even up from October in the build up to the World Cup. So that was kind of good to see. But it's also interesting because not every Erling Haaland is going to the moon, and I'm not saying, rush out and buy Erling Haaland, but his year is going so well. It's also interesting to see some of those earlier cards. Now, this is the 2019 Topps Finest UCL. This is this is a PSA 9 of that rookie. This just sold for $467 on March 16th. Now you can see that, just a few months ago, this card was selling upwards between $550 and $600. So it's actually come down a little bit if you take a look at the graph there on on the right. If you're just listening to this, you've kind of seen just a little bit of a decline in pricing here over the past couple months. But it'll be interesting to see as the season progresses, as Manchester City, if they can continue to progress in the Champions League. Are they going to catch Arsenal in the Premier League? Are they going to win the FA Cup? There's multiple storylines for Manchester City, and there's a lot of spotlight going to be on Erling Haaland. Not that there isn't already spotlight, because there is plenty of light on Erling Haaland and what he's been able to accomplish. 5 goals in a Champions League match, in a round of 16 match, that's pretty incredible. But people are going to look, myself included, and maybe I'm speaking for me personally, I am looking for Erling Haaland's moment. I'm looking for that decisive goal. I'm looking for that iconic image that we will have moving forward. Maybe it's a league winning or league clinching goal in the Premier League. If they can catch Arsenal, maybe it's an FA Cup winner, maybe it's a Champions League winner. Well, whatever it is, that's kind of, he's going to have the opportunity when the lights are the brightest to be the brightest star. And that's what really intrigues me of Erling Haaland moving forward. Now, case in point, sometimes in my head, it's always, where injury concerns. He's missed just a few games this year. I think he already had to pull out of the Norway camp due to injuries during the international break here. But I think that's also to continue to keep him progressing in all of these other competitions. But Erling Haaland is lighting the Premier League on fire, and we're seeing that goal after goal after goal after goal. But funny thing is that here in second place, and we're going to talk about second place right now because I think he deserves to be talked about, and that's Harry Kane, 29 years old. He's got 21 goals in the Premier League already as well. Now we still got quite a few games to go. There's still 10 or so games left to be played. So he's having one of his best seasons for Spurs. And now, granted, they're not in the FA Cup and they're not in a European competition anymore, and they're not going to win the Premier League. And there's some issues going on with Spurs right now with manager and is there going to be a changing in the manager in the coming days? Who knows? But he is putting in goals. Champions League, he only did put 1 goal in 8 games. FA Cup, he had a goal. But he's got 23 goals across all competitions. And I think it's important that we recognize not only the year that he's having, 20-plus goals again, but he does it year in and year out. And now the biggest question in my mind, and I think many other people's minds, is where is Harry Kane going to play football next year? Now, is this the summer that he gets his transfer away to try to win trophies? Because he has he's the all-time goal-scoring leader for Tottenham, and he doesn't have any trophies to show for it. At 29 years old, is that transfer still in the work? I know he's creeping on into 30, but I think he's still got a lot of fantastic football to go. Sitting in second place now, will he catch Haaland for the Golden Boot? The top goal scorer in the Premier League? Probably not. But there is a good chance that he too could get to close to 30 or even eclipse 30 goals this year. Now, the card that I really love is a Pop 11. It's this 2015 Topps Premier Club. It is a PSA 10 that I wanted to look at here today. It just sold in early March for $504. So PSA 10, 2015 Topps Premier Club. And I really like kind of earlier stuff. I've been kind of getting into, the top stuff in 2015 and 2014, 2013, because it's out there, and I know they're paper cards, but some of them, if you look at, the Harry Kane on the screen, if you're watching or if you're listening, there's some dark borders around it. So the grading piece to these are pretty tough, as you can definitely see the whiting around the edges of the card. But here, PSA 10, $504 on PWCC's weekly auction on March 5th. Put that in perspective. Now, I know there's no picture because this sold. They don't sell very often, which is sometimes fun to see. But Card Ladder, I love going back because you can definitely see previous sales. This one goes all the way back to July 29th of 2021. So where were you July 29th, 2021? But this PSA 10 sold for $750. So really, we've come we're in a very different place in the hobby and pricing from 2021 to now. But $500, you're still seeing a decline in roughly $250 for a Harry Kane PSA 10 rookie from 2015. Now he isn't in that 2014 iconic Panini Prism set. That would be his first card, and it's a great card in my opinion. I really appreciate that. But we're gonna move out. This idea of hundreds of dollars. Now I get that many people are maybe listening to this and going, I don't have $100. I don't have $150. I don't have $500 or $700 to spend on a Harry Kane rookie card. I get that. I totally understand. But there are some really value plays out there. If you're interested in Harry Kane or just another player, I would always say do your research. Look around, because just because you see something and you're like, I really like that, there might be a card or a different card that can pique your interest that you might also want to acquire that may be a fraction of the price. To me, looking at 2022, 2023 Panini Revolution Premier League, you can get a Harry Kane auto, March 17th, one sold for $36 raw. $36 for a Harry Kane, the all-time leading goal scorer for Tottenham, for $36. Now, for me, you look at that and say, you could get, and I get it, sticker auto, and we can have the on-card versus sticker conversation. I get that. But if you are an autograph fan or you're just a fan of Spurs and you're like, you know what, I would really like a Harry Kane auto, there's some affordable autos that you could find out there as you're looking at new sets and figuring out what you like, aesthetically. Do you like the way the card looks? And then what's your plan with it? Is this something that you'd want to grade, or you just want to have it, stick it in a Spurs PC? That would not be mine, as an Arsenal fan, not going that route. But to each their own, and we all have our different hobby journeys, and we all have different reasons for what we buy and why we buy. So, but this is a great option if you're looking at any type of Harry Kane auto. Now, here's the name, Niclas Fullkrug. I know, household name, right? Everybody knows Niclas. But if you follow the Bundesliga, you probably do, because he is currently leading the Bundesliga in goals through 24 games. He's got 15 goals and 5 assists this year, and he's playing extremely, extremely well as the Bundesliga has gone. I want to take a look at his Topps Chrome rookie. It's a blue refractor. It's out of 199, 2018, 2019. This is when he was playing for Hanover, and you can pick that up. March 4th, one sold raw for $7.50. It might be tough to see some of these get listed because he isn't a household name. Not everybody knows who he is, but he is 30 years old. He's been around the Bundesliga for quite a while, currently, with Werder Bremen. And here is an auto from 2020, 2021 Topps Finest. So this is the green refractor. Again, you can kind of see that I do love those color matches. So I'm pulling out, I know it's neon green, but the green on the green. This is a refractor auto out of 50, $17.50, sold March 8th. So if you're a fan of the Bundesliga or Fullkrug and what he's been able to accomplish, I know for the past 5 years, so whoever wins the top goal scorer in the Bundesliga this year is going to be a different name in the record books than the past 5, because we all know Robert Lewandowski has been scoring goals in bunches in the Bundesliga in previous years with Bayern Munich. But there is going to be a new name. Is it going to be Niclas Fullkrug, or is it going to be someone else who's going to come on in the last 10 or so games and eclipse him at the 15 goal mark? So, you look at, 28 for Haaland, 15 for Fullkrug. There's some other leagues that just the amount of goals, we assume that everybody's scoring at a Haaland pace. Not the case at all whatsoever. But if you were interested in the top goal scorer for the Bundesliga in Niclas Fullkrug, you could acquire some pretty low numbered stuff for relatively cheap. But he is 30 years old. He spent his entire career in the Bundesliga. So he's, Hanover. I think he's, with Werder Bremen. I think this is his second stint. There's one other club, I think, maybe Nuremberg was another one that he played for a little bit. So not even, the Bayerns or the Borussia Dortmunds, kind of the middle table tier teams that we see. So it's good to see too. I always like to see guys, play well, score goals, contribute to their teams. And Werder Bremen is kind of that mid-table team this year. But speaking of the Bundesliga goal scorer from the past 5 years, Robert Lewandowski is leading La Liga currently through 22 games with 15 goals. Now, he's got goals coming in from all different competitions, but the two main ones, 22 games, 15 goals in La Liga, like I said, but he's also got 5 goals in 5 games in the Champions League. But we know that Barcelona isn't in the Champions League anymore, and they're not in the Europa League anymore either, as they lost to Manchester United. And so they are just focusing on La Liga. They got that huge El Clasico win against Real Madrid here. It was a great game to watch if you had a chance to sit down and watch El Clasico, especially the end, back and forth, just really great open play, lots of chances. Just really, it was fun to watch. And so I hope you had a chance to watch it. If not, I would encourage you to go back and watch the replays, because those are always fun. But Robert Lewandowski on pace, nothing comparative to what he was doing at Bayern. 15 goals in La Liga games. He scored goals at Haaland clips, in previous years in the Bundesliga. And here he is in La Liga, but he's still leading the way, still leading the line for Barcelona. I know they're not in European competitions anymore, but they do seem to be in the driver's seat to win La Liga this year. Now, the card that I really, really enjoy, 2017 Topps Chrome. I think a lot of collectors would agree that this is going to be, or if not already is, an absolutely iconic set for soccer. For me, just the color itself, the color of the cards, the complete background in colors is super important to me. Just makes these cards beautiful. And again, I'm a color guy, so watching the red on the orange, that's good with me. That's good for me. Now, this is a Pop 5. This is a Pop 5, 2017, Topps Chrome, Orange Refractor, Robert Lewandowski, PSA 10. Just a really, in my opinion, solid sale. March 17th, sold for $1,500. Best offer on eBay. And to me, that's really important, because if you take a look, you don't see a whole lot with Pop 5s. Again, you're probably like, why are you showing all these low-numbered Pop cards? I think it shows just strong sales for some of these goal scorers, but also you can take the Pop, the PSA 10, and I'm always comparing it to, PSA 9s. So here's the last PSA 9 that sold was January 9th, 2022. So go back, maybe it wasn't the last one, but one of the sales here, but if you look at it, 13 out of 25 sold for $499.99. So the PSA 10 is 3 times that of the PSA 9, and it was a fixed price. But to me, Robert Lewandowski, great goal scorer all time, iconic set, and here leading the league, La Liga. Will he continue to lead? Niclas Fullkrug could kind of fade a little bit, and somebody else could take his place. Personal opinion. But I think Robert Lewandowski is going to probably lead La Liga in goals at the end of the season. And again, now he's a scoring champ a goal scoring champ in a second league. So keep an eye out for Robert Lewandowski. But being out of the Bundesliga, for me personally, I watch a lot on ESPN and the Bundesliga a little bit, where I'm watching Bayern or Borussia Dortmund. I'm not seeing a whole lot of Barcelona games and La Liga games. El Clasico was different, but I don't tune into La Liga each and every week. It's more Premier League, Bundesliga, and then maybe, Serie here and there. So lots to, kind of comprehend, but Lewandowski is doing some great things. And as we move into Italy, as we continue the train in Italy, we got to talk about Victor Osimhen. This guy is electric. Now, I don't watch Serie a ton, but I have been clued in and kind of highlighting a lot of Napoli's games, watching this guy play. 24 years old, through 23 games this year, he has 21 goals. He's got 4 goals in 5 games in the Champions League. And I know that the if you're watching this, it's not 23 goals in all competitions. It should read 25 goals in all competitions. Big year for Napoli as they look to continue their dominance in the Champions League, but also in Serie A as well. I mean, they look to going to win the league as well. My biggest question is not how many goals is he going to end up with. It's where is he going to go? The summer transfer window is upon us. We've already talked a little bit. Is Harry Kane going to move in the summer? So you got a big striker there, 29, going to be moving. Does he want to stay in England? Does he want to go somewhere else? Where does Victor want to play? Where does he want to go? I think the sky's the limit, and kind of, the world, the football is his oyster right now. He could basically pick to where he wants to go. Does he want to show up in the Premier League? Does he want to play for a club like Man United? Does he want to play for a club like Chelsea? Is there room for him somewhere else in La Liga? Would Real Madrid be interested? I think this transfer over the summer, if it does happen, which I think it should, Napoli's going to ask for a lot of money. But we could see him on the move here in the summer. And so I'm more clued in, very much like the Haaland situation. You've got Osimhen ready to go in the Champions League on a team that plays really, really fun to watch football, attacking, goal-scoring football. And I'm really excited to see kind of what they can do in the Champions League as they move on into the round of 8. And we'll see kind of where it goes from there. But he's having a phenomenal year. And the cards that, are important to look at, here's one of is the SGC 10 out of 2020 Topps Merlin Chrome. This is a green refractor. It's out of 99. It just recently sold PWCC Vault on March 17th for $275. $275 out of 99 SGC 10. I got to tell you guys, color with an SGC slab, there's something to it. Maybe I'm way off. Maybe it's just me, but I would love to know your thoughts on, just the black backdrop. I think it just causes those colors on the cards, Merlin or even Topps Chrome from 2017. It just causes it to pop. I absolutely love the look of it. And here, $275 is a pretty good price tag for the 24-year-old, but I think he's got to move. I would love to know your thoughts as well. Do you think he's going to be on the move here at the end of the year? And if so, where do you think he's going to go? Or better yet, maybe not where is he going to go? Where should he go? We always talk about these big transfer moves, but we also want to make, does it fit his style of play? Does it fit the way he wants to play? And where would be the best fit for him? Now, if you're thinking $275 might be out of my price range, like there's some cards that are affordable in the rookie cards as well. 2020 Chronicles. This is the Optic rated rookie Purple Mojo. March 18th one sold for $50 for a raw copy. And if you're even thinking, 50 might be too high, I'd still like to own, a Victor Osimhen card, but I can't spend 50. Even looking at that Merlin Chrome refractors, not numbered, just the refractors raw. One sold March 18th for $13. So, his stuff is out there, and maybe even if it's a newer name, like, you might have heard about him or heard other people talking about him. I would encourage you, go look at some highlights if you have time to look at Napoli, or even now that Napoli is moving into, kind of the closing stages of the Champions League. Definitely tune into those games, watch him play, watch the team play. I don't think you'll be disappointed, but Victor Osimhen is currently leading Italy Serie A in goals. We're going to round things out in Ligue 1. We're going to finish off in France, and 2 names tied at the leaderboard. One, we all know. The other one, we probably know, and maybe he doesn't get as much talk as much as Victor Osimhen or even any of the young Erling Haaland. That's Johnathan David. Johnathan David is putting together a pretty great season at Lille in France. Through 27 games, he's got 19 goals. He's got 4 assists. 23 years old, plays his club or he plays his international football with Canada. But really, one of the things I just wanted to kind of clue you in on is kind of this build up right to the World Cup, July into November, and where pricing was and where prices are currently. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to go back to these prices, but I think it's pretty interesting when you look at prices as a whole. And here, 2021 Topps Chrome. This is the Green Wave refractor. This is out of 99. One sold July of 2022, July 24th, 2022, for $86. $86 on July 24th for a raw copy of this Green Wave refractor out of 99. And then leading up to the World Cup. Now, remember, Johnathan David is representing Canada. Canada's in their first World Cup for a number of years. We're a few days out of the World Cup, and a best offer on a Green Wave raw refractor out of 99 sold November 16th for $94.19. Now, Canada didn't make it through the group stages. And if we fast forward all the way to March, within the kind of the past 10 days or so, we've seen 2 sales of this card's price. Going from, the price is, upwards of 90, we can see that even a Green Wave Refractor raw copy sold March 13th for $37. $37 here in March. And then, 5 days later on March 18th, one sold for $36.88. Now, I'm not saying the prices should be in the 90s. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm looking at this, from a perspective of, okay, you've got Johnathan David, you got Harry Kane, you've got Victor Osimhen, you've got Erling Haaland. Is Johnathan David kind of, the one that nobody's talking about? Now, people are starting to recognize, and people are starting to, kind of clue in and turn an ear when they hear his name, or even kind of look for what he's doing in League One. But I don't think he gets talked about nearly as much as some of the other ones. And maybe rightly so. Napoli, Manchester City, they're still in the Champions League. Like, he is just playing League One football in France, and it doesn't have kind of the European competitions. But he is one that, is intriguing to me just because of where he plays internationally, in Canada, and leading the line for Canada. And that's why, I think 2022 Panini World Cup Prism is an interesting, is interesting to me. In the build up to the World Cup, there was a lot of products released about Road to the World Cup, and there was a lot of products that came that didn't have Canada represented. There wasn't a whole lot of Canada presence in products up until the Panini World Cup Prism, and so this kind of eBay sale, or this eBay sale on March 19th, sparked my interest. As it's the first off the line, the blue shimmer out of 5. Johnathan David's rookie card in the Canada kit, and it sold for $461 raw. Now, in cases like this, I kind of look at things and I go, I'm guessing there's not a whole lot of other sales, if any sales at all, in something so low printed, out of 5. So what I always kind of look at, okay, what are the other rookies in the set, and are there any rookies that are comparable? Or can I look at those sales and kind of put them next to each other and say, okay, is it worth the buy? And so the one that I did find that I just wanted to share with you was Moises Caicedo. He's playing for Brighton right now, but his blue shimmer sold for $350 back in February, and this maybe have been coming off of February 5th. This was coming off of a winter transfer where Arsenal was obviously interested in signing him. But when I look at these two individuals and I say, okay, you got about $110 difference. For me, Caicedo isn't scoring 20 goals a year in any league. And Johnathan David is doing that currently in League One. And so would I rather spend more money, a little bit more money, on a very short printed rookie of Johnathan David, where Canada kits and cards with him in Canada kits is not a lot, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's not a whole lot of product out with him in his Canadian kit. And also, if he's going to get a big move from Lille, unlike the Topps Chrome, like the Prism World Cup card, he's always going to play for Canada. He's always going to represent his country, and barring injury or anything, detrimental, he's going to be, a part of that 2026 Canadian team to participate in the World Cup here in North America. And so this card, is interesting to me when I see it. I think it's a strong sale for Johnathan David, comparative to other players like Moises Caicedo. But I think it's a really kind of an interesting, in the Canadian kit for a rookie card. There's probably not a whole lot of them out there for him. So he's leading La Liga, and then tied for the league lead, actually, as we look at the one, the only Kilian Mbappe. 24 games, he's got 19 goals, 7 goals that came through the Champions League in 8 games. He himself put up a 5-goal performance in the Coupe de France, and so 31 goals across all competitions. Again, it's not in the 40s like Erling Haaland, but again, I feel like, when guys talk about Kilian Mbappe and his performances, like, we've been talking about him for a number of years now. Like, he's 24 years old. We've talked about the World Cup win and scoring a goal in the World Cup, and I just feel like he's continually produced year in and year out, and he's just doing it again this year. And this is just what he's accomplished in his league, in the Champions League. We're not even talking about the performances he put in at the World Cup. The hat trick in a World Cup final, dragging your team to almost a World Cup win, only to lose to Messi. I still think about that, and you can't help but smile if you watch the final. It was incredible. And so Kylian Mbappe, just phenomenal. Continues to do it year in and year out. And one of the cards I wanted to look for, it's not the orange refractor like the Lewendowski. It is the blue refractor out of 2017 Topps Chrome, because PWCC Weekly Auction just sold a PSA 10, which is a Pop 33. It sold March 19th for $6,300. And I always like to, again, my mind instantly goes to, when did it sell last time? What were the sales? Let's take a look. And this card has actually come down quite a lot. If you go all the way back to March 1st, so almost a calendar year, just over a calendar year, we saw this card sold March 1st of 2022 for $14,500. Fast forward about 7 months, September 11th of 2022, PWCC's weekly auction, it sold for $10,800. And then we move into December 18th of 2022. So we at the end of 2022, this card sold for $8,500. And then March 9th of this year on eBay, so just at the beginning of this month, it sold for $6,725. And then finishing it up with that PWCC weekly auction sale of $6,300. Now, again, color match, I know, the blue on the blue, or you can say it's purple or blue PSG, but it's a color match. Absolutely love it. I think these cards are beautiful. I do not currently own any 2017 Topps Chrome color. I have a BGS 9.5 True Gem of the base card, just because I love this set of Kylian Mbappe, but it is on my bucket list to someday acquire some color of Kylian Mbappe in the 2017 Topps Chrome set. So I got to figure that out and when that can happen. But it helps me, like, as a person who would want that card for a collection and not to just completely move it right away, or have any intentions of moving it, to see the price, go from 10,000 to 6,300. Still a little out of my price range, to be honest. But it's one of those where I think, it's something now that I can look at and say, maybe not a 10, maybe a 9 or an 8, maybe something's out there that, that I could acquire this card. Because I really do. I love watching Kylian Mbappe play. I think he's a great talent, as well as all these goal scorers are, as they continue to just push forward and score goals for their clubs and do fantastic and great things. But those are the goal leaders. That's where we're at, at 2/3 of the way through the season. And so the question then becomes, who's going to finish on top? The Haaland, looks pretty good that he's going to finish the year on top of the Premier League. Is he going to break the Premier League record for goals? Then you look at, the Bundesliga, Fullkrug, is he going to finish on top? Is somebody else going to catch him? Even in Ligue 1, as you look at Johnathan David and Kylian Mbappe, tied, who's gonna finish that one off in first place? So many questions, but it's fun to watch. It's fun to track these guys, because some of these guys we know, and it's really good and reassuring when they are producing like we know they can. And then there's other guys, that kind of burst on the scene that we haven't heard of, have been playing in certain leagues for years upon years, and it's putting it all together and having a great season, and still being productive. And then there's, guys who have done it for years and years and years, and Robert Lewandowski, and just continuing to do it in La Liga. I would love to know your thoughts on who you think is going to finish on top, maybe who isn't going to finish on top. But I just appreciate you guys making it this far. It has been a fabulous time to sit and chill and chat with you. But don't think that some of these guys are priced out. $6,300 for an Mbappe. You don't have to just have $6,300 for Mbappe. Not many people can do that. But there are cards out there that of even Kylian Mbappe. 2020 Panini Obsidian out of 75. Purple Etch, color match, PSA 10. $152.50 in March here of this year, and back in October it was $177. So just because they're scoring goals doesn't mean all their cards are continually to go up in value. So I would encourage you, continue to do your research, collect what you like, understand and buy the cards that you appreciate, and know what you're going to do with them. But I don't know where we're gonna finish off these seasons. Whether Arsenal's gonna win the league and Haaland's gonna win the goal scoring title. That would be good with me, honestly. Every time he steps out on the pitch, it scares me to death. But I've had a blast talking about the goal scorers. Hope you have too. Tune in next time as we continue to talk football and cards. What could be better than that? So you guys all have a great week, and we'll see you next time.